But now we went on the last message, what did Peter say in 2 Peter 3:10? But the day of the Lord will come like a thief. You don't expect it. It's that thief in the night. It's not something that's going to happen in the tribulation, because that wouldn't come. Everybody's going to be waiting, watching in the tribulation. It'll come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat. That's the asteroid entering the atmosphere. If any of you ever heard when the space shuttle was crashing to Earth over Texas, when that space shuttle crashed, everybody on ground, even though it was a small space shuttle, said they couldn't believe the roar that was coming down in the fire. That's a small spacecraft. This is going to be a moderate-sized asteroid. It can't be too small, or it won't bring the results of the tribulation coming on. It can't be too big, or it will destroy life on Earth. But that is what Peter's talking about here. The heavens will pass away. That'll come through the atmosphere, destroying the ozone where it comes down. And it'll come with a roar. An asteroid coming down will make the most unbelievable roar a man could ever imagine. And the elements will be destroyed. The trees he just talked about, the grass, will be destroyed with intense heat from an asteroid hitting the Earth. There's a look at documentaries on an asteroid hitting the Earth and see the results of it. You'll think you're reading this. And the Earth and its works will be burned up. Just what we were talking about in Revelation chapter 8, verse 7, where he's talking about, then they were thrown to the earth, and a third of the earth was burned up. It's not the entire earth, it's that country where the asteroid hits. And a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass, intense heat. Now, where else did we have this? In our last message, we talked about this thing. Same thing. Where do we see the other side of this? I said it will hit in an ocean. You can see that in the second trumpet. It hits in an ocean, and a third of the creatures are dead. By the end of the tribulation, they're all dead, and that ocean is dead. The life is gone. And what does it say in Luke chapter 21, verses 25 and 26? Listen here, saints. It's so clear. The Lord put this all together for us. We didn't study this. This came by way of revelation. We weren't taught it by man. We didn't go to a certain denomination to teach what they teach. We didn't go to some theological school or some Christian college to get their teaching on this. We were shocked when he started opening this up and how clear it became. And it went on and on and on, and we just couldn't believe it. We were sitting there in the Spirit of the Lord and the power of the Lord as he just revealed these things one after another. And it was amazing. And here's another thing that he showed us. Luke 21, 25 and 26. We were talking about the sea. And there will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. That will happen as the asteroid hits, and that cloud of dust, that particles, that waste goes crashing up into the atmosphere. It's going to block the sun and the moon and the stars, as you've read in other places. And upon the earth, dismay among nations. In perplexity, the nations will be in dismay and perplex the other nations at the roaring of the sea and of the waves. Scientists say if even a moderate-sized asteroid hits an ocean, it will cause waves over 600 feet tall. It will be going over the skyscrapers in New York. Do you see that, saints, now? The second trumpet, the second bowl of wrath. They're describing the exact same thing. One at the beginning of the tribulation, one at the end of the tribulation. Peter's describing the same thing as it comes down. Here in Luke, the Lord's describing the same thing as it hits in an ocean. It's all so clear. There's nothing missing then. And there's not going to be endless thousands of disasters every day continuously for 7 years, because the Antichrist will set up his kingdom. He will set up his kingdom to the point that you have to have his mark to buy, sell, or trade. So the world ain't going to come to an end. What's going to come to an end? That ruling country, that country that rules and reigns over the earth and keeps the earth under control by its power. That country, as it shows in Babylon falling, that all the earth buys from, sells to, trades with. Their money's there. Their real estate's there. Their businesses are there. Their money flows through there. That's the United States at this time. If maybe in 50 years it could be a China the way we're going, but right now it can only be the United States. See my other messages on that. On the fall of Babylon, who is Babylon? And the other message, the USA is Babylon. You'll see what I mean. And verse 26 in Luke, and then men fainting from fear and the expectation of the things which are coming upon the earth. This is not in the tribulation. This is not at the end of the tribulation. This is the beginning of the tribulation, as that asteroid hits, brings down Babylon, has our government fall. And then that allows for the rise of the kingdom of the beast. It will seem like a good thing. He's going to say he's going to bring peace and order to the earth. Do you see that? And people will follow him. The saints will be there preaching their three messages. And one of them will be, don't follow the beast or the kingdom of the beast, because you'll be thrown into hell and tormented forever and ever. But see here in verse 26, men fainting from fear and the expectations of the things which are coming upon the earth. Because the asteroid will hit, and that will be 1 hour of one day, the first hour of the first day of the tribulation. That's why you can mark the days. You can count the days exactly to the hour of the tribulation. That's why they're marked. That's why you're told in the Bible how many days there are, because they will be able to be marked exactly from the day that asteroid hits. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. As that asteroid hits, the powers of the heavens will be shaken. The powers of the earth will be shaken. This country will fall. It will lose its dominance with military. And it will lose its dominance with the commerce that the whole world depends on. I have messages on those things. But for now, we're sticking to the messages of the trumpets and the bowls of wrath. But there's one other thing we have to look at before we go. I told you that the sixth seal covers the tribulation too, because it's a time that men can and will be saved. The seals cover the entire church age. Don't allow them to deceive you and trick you into thinking this is another part of the tribulation. The sixth seal does cover the tribulation, because men can and will be saved during the tribulation. But let's go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, starting there. And it's going to describe the same thing, saints. This one event, not endless event after event after event. But here in verse 12 of chapter 6, and I looked when he broke the sixth seal, the beginning of the tribulation, and there was a great earthquake. You go look at those documentaries on asteroids. If an asteroid hits, there's going to be a great earthquake. There's other places where it says the earth teeters and totters, because a big asteroid, even a moderate asteroid hitting the earth, will cause it to shake. And the first thing that's mentioned here is this earthquake. And the sun became black as sackcloth made of hair, and the whole moon became like blood. That's the area where the asteroid hits. And for a great distance, 1/3 of that country will be covered by the results and the destruction of this. In verse 13, and the stars of the sky fell to the earth, as a fig tree caps its unripe grapes when shaken by a great wind. I saw this. One day the Lord gave me a vision. I saw this. That was too. And you can see this in documentaries about asteroid. As the asteroid hits, all that debris and rock and the stuff from the ground that it kicks up will be kicked up high into the atmosphere. And as it comes down, I saw it so plain. It looked like stars, like meteorites. Large meteorites fall into earth. There was a light, and behind them, and you'll read about this at different places in the end times, pillars of smoke. And pillars of smoke were coming out from behind them. And they were fallen by the thousands, the hundreds of thousands, all around where the asteroid hit. That's what is referring to here. The stars of the sky fell to earth. Some people try to tell you that the stars in heaven, which are hundreds of millions of light years away, are going to fall to earth. That's ridiculous. One even came near, your earth would be gone. No, That is what I saw in that vision. As the asteroid hits that debris, big chunks of rock and pieces of the asteroid and pieces of the islands and mountains that are going to be destroyed where the asteroid hit are going to be cast up into the earth, and they're going to be on fire and coming down like burning shooting stars. And then verse 14, and the sky was split apart like a scroll when it is rolled up. That is like a nuclear bomb going off. See your documentaries. Don't listen to me. See the documentaries on an asteroid hitting. It'll kick up a giant cloud bigger than thousands of nuclear bombs. And it'll roll up like a nuclear bomb. And then the sky will be split as it rolls up. And then it says that every mountain and island were moved out of their places. This is mentioned here and in the bowls of wrath. Teachers try to teach you that across the earth during the tribulation, while the kingdom of the beast is requiring you to have a mark to buy, sell, and trade, while the two witnesses you read about in Israel in the book of Revelation are killed and the whole world is giving gifts like it's Christmas. But they try to tell you that twice every mountain and island are moved out of their places. It's not what it's talking about. It's again talking about where that asteroid hits in that ocean. Every island around there will be wiped off the earth. Every mountain, because it's going to be close to shore, every mountain inland near where the asteroid hits will be leveled. And the further out you go from it, the less it will be damaged. But where the asteroid hits, that's what it's talking about. Every island and mountain right there will be leveled and gone. In verse 15, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the commanders, and the rich, and the strong, and every slave and free man hid themselves in the cave and among the rocks of the mountains. And they said to the rocks and the mountains, fall on us, and hide us from the presence of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of God. For the great day of their wrath is come, and who's been able to stand? These things, the sixth seal, the trumpets, and the bowls of wrath, are all describing the start of the tribulation. At the beginning of the tribulation, going to the end of the tribulation. The trumpets are for God's people to get instructions to get prepared for war. The bowls of wrath are for those who reject God and turn to the kingdom of the beast and the Antichrist and the outcome of those things. It's not 14, 15, 20, 30 different, amazing, unbelievable disasters one after another. It's one very bad, and it will be the worst thing that's ever happened on earth in the history of man. A moderate-sized asteroid hitting is bad enough. Bringing down the number one country, the number one military in the world, the number one commerce country in the world, the number one money in the world, where money is traded in real estate and stocks, where all those things happen through that one country in that one area on the east coast of the United States. If you got another thing that can do that and bring down the world's governments at one time in 1 hour of one day, then good for you. But there is no other thing. There is no other country. In the next message, come back, subscribe, get ready. I don't want anything from you. I want you to pass this on. First, I want you to get ready. I want you to repent. I want you to prepare the way of the Lord. I want you to make his path straight. And we will go through these things together and prepare together for the coming of the Lord.